So let me explain to you. I am an opportunistic feeder. If you don't know what that is, it's the same condition wild animals have, where when they find something to eat, they eat until they cannot eat anymore. Because they don't know when that next meal's coming. It can happen with children who have been malnourished. It can happen with emotional problems. It can happen with stress eating. And it can happen with lycanthropy. And a fun fact, lycanthropy can also manifest in a way where you don't see yourself necessarily as a wolf. However, with schizophrenia, seeing wolves and dogs is like the number one side effect. A lot of people hallucinate a dog, hallucinate a wolf. Some people see themselves as spiders. Some people see themselves as beetles. Some people see themselves as bears. It's always a carnivore. With me, it's always been wolves. Always. So I found that if I ate more and if I ate until I didn't eat anymore, for one, my grandparents were very, very pushy eaters. You cleaned your plate or you were ungrateful. So it didn't matter what it was. It didn't matter how big the plate was. You ate everything. And like the worst beating I ever got, like a belt beating, like grab me by the hair, swing me around, beat me into my bedroom and whip me with a belt, was me not eating fast enough. I have never been able to look at vegetable soup since. So I really began to train more furiously. My animal wanted to live, and my animal at this point was just like, what is wrong with me? Something is wrong with me. So I began to notice I began to eat more. And because there was this little thing in the back of my head like, well, I mean, what if there is a rapture? What if something really happens and there's no food? So I think that's kind of where it started. My grandfather, again, he never got fed as a child. He never got fed. So if you left food on your plate, it was horrible. And it was a disgrace to the cook. It was just disrespectful. So that really started amping it up. And I found that eating and tearing was the only way I could eat. I was born with very malformed jaws. So again, you don't see me now, but I'm beautiful. I'm Angelina Jolie under here. But I was born with a real elongated jaw, and it was twisted. So, like, I have some 30 plus bolts in my face. They had to break both jaws, had to break my nose, the whole schmear, because I couldn't eat. My teeth, when I clenched my teeth, were like that. That's how my jaws were. So it was ripping and tearing at food. And people thought I had the worst manners. And it was just, I couldn't bite down. So all of a sudden it was, you're going to eat everything on your plate and you're going to eat like a lady or I'm going to smack you. So I'm trying to eat. Eating became a very traumatic thing. Like to this day, like I can't eat on camera. I don't like eating in public. But I found something so rewarding about being given a piece of meat and just being able to just rip the shit out of it, you know. And to this day, I am that way. Give me a steak, give me bones, you know. Lycanthropy is where I find my joy. It's the only thing, that animal in me. When you feel a breeze, when it snows, when it rains, when it storms, you can go out in a field with grass and rub your body on the grass and feel this primal animal just be happy. And I find that I'm never going to progress beyond a certain age mentally. I know I can speak well, but I write really well. So I think the way I write. and it helps me communicate. But I still am very childlike. I still want to play. I still want to go run in the woods. I still want to play. People think, oh, they're being sexy out there. It's like, no, I'm really like, oh, I'm still gnawing on my friends' like hips and shit. Because there's nothing that turns you more giddy than playing with somebody and being chased like you're little. And somebody wants to chase you. They want to catch you. And they want to on your thigh. And not all lycanthropes have as good of experiences. And I'm very lucky. Bless you. Poor cat's got allergies. Did you hear that? My God, she would have blown the hair off my legs if I didn't have jeans on. So, I know I've been very lucky in that regard. But at this time, I saw the animal as the only friend I had. And that animal wanted to be fed, it wanted to fight back, and it wanted to get mean. And more than ever, around the age of 9 and 10, I still do the jaw clicking when I get nervous. I'm fine. You want to say hello? This is Uncle Tatum. It's my best friend's baby. She had a long day at work, didn't she? She had a long day at work, and she's got to be up in a few hours, so we're going to be very, very quiet, right? Okay. He knows when he gets kind of like, you okay? Usually means I'm getting ready to get something to eat, huh? And I share. All right, come on. You know you can't have the Dr. Pepper. I know you keep kind of looking at it. So, I began to get more guttural. Nobody wanted to hear me speak. Nobody wanted my opinion. They didn't want to know what book I had read unless it was for school. They didn't want to include me in much. So, it became my language. People say, oh, the teenagers don't even talk to me nowadays. It became my way of almost putting that dog in front of the small child. And that was seen as disrespectful. And I got a lot of beatings for it. I got a lot of spankings and belts. But without that animal, I wouldn't be here. And I wouldn't have my religion. And I wouldn't have my real sense of self that I think is all that's left. So, it's not all bad. And I needed that animal through every trial in my life. So I'm one of the few cases where I can tell you the animal is my best friend, and it saved me. It doesn't tell me to go kill anybody. It doesn't tell me to go hurt anybody. It doesn't say hurt yourself. Calm down. There's a truck parked outside, and he's like, I'm going to let him have it. And I'm like, yeah, sure. You're going to kiss him to death. So the chances of me ever becoming violent, even after everything, are so low. So I don't want you to ever fear that for me. I don't want you to ever feel like, that could be a problem. Because if I didn't lay hands on my family for hurting me, I wouldn't for anyone else. But sometimes the things that you fear the worst turn out to be the ones that kind of save you. So, that concludes this video. Now we amp it up a little bit. Thank you for sticking with me. It means everything.